Columbus Day, observed annually on the second Monday of October, is a day marked by both celebration and controversy. It is a federal holiday in the United States, and many people take the day off work or school to participate in various festivities. For some, it represents a celebration of Christopher Columbus's historic voyage across the Atlantic in 1492, a journey that opened up the Americas to European exploration and colonization. This event is often seen as a pivotal moment in world history, marking the beginning of a new era of global interaction. Columbus's voyage is celebrated for its daring and the spirit of adventure it embodies. The journey was fraught with uncertainty and danger, yet it ultimately led to the discovery of new lands and opportunities for European nations. However, for others, Columbus Day is a painful reminder of the violence, exploitation, and cultural devastation that followed Columbus's arrival, particularly for the indigenous peoples of the Americas. The arrival of Europeans brought about significant and often tragic changes for the native populations. This complex and often contradictory legacy has made Columbus Day one of the most hotly debated holidays in the United States. The discussions around this day often reflect broader conversations about history, memory, and justice. Supporters of the holiday often cite Columbus's bravery and his role in connecting the continents, highlighting the positive aspects of cultural exchange and the expansion of knowledge that resulted from his voyages. They argue that Columbus's achievements should be recognized and celebrated. On the other hand, critics argue that celebrating Columbus ignores the devastating consequences of his arrival for indigenous populations, including widespread disease, slavery, and the systematic destruction of their cultures and ways of life. They believe that the holiday should be reconsidered or replaced with a day that honors indigenous peoples. This essay will delve into the historical context surrounding Columbus Day, exploring both the achievements and the atrocities associated with this pivotal figure in world history. By examining multiple perspectives, we aim to provide a comprehensive understanding of why Columbus Day remains such a contentious and emotionally charged holiday. Born in Genoa, Italy in 1451, Christopher Columbus was a skilled navigator and ambitious explorer who dreamed of finding a westward sea route to the East Indies. From a young age, he was fascinated by the sea and the mysteries it held. At the time, European access to the East, a source of valuable spices and goods, was controlled by Arab merchants and overland routes. These routes were long, arduous, and fraught with danger, making the journey expensive and time-consuming. Columbus believed that by sailing west across the vast Atlantic, he could reach the East Indies more quickly and establish a direct trade route for European powers. His idea was revolutionary and risky, but he was determined to prove it possible. Despite facing skepticism and rejection from several potential patrons, Columbus eventually secured funding from King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella of Spain, who were eager to expand their empire and challenge Portuguese dominance in maritime trade. Their support was crucial for Columbus's ambitious plans. With their support, Columbus set sail from Palos de la Frontera, Spain on August 3, 1492, with 3 ships, the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria. This voyage marked the beginning of a new era in exploration and changed the course of history forever. Columbus's first voyage across the Atlantic was a journey fraught with challenges. The vastness of the ocean, the unknown dangers that lay ahead, and the growing discontent among his crew tested Columbus's leadership and resolve. After weeks at sea with no sign of land, tensions mounted and some crew members threatened mutiny. However, Columbus remained steadfast in his belief that he would find a new route to the east. Finally, on October 12, 1492, after more than 2 months at sea, land was sighted. Columbus and his crew had landed in the Bahamas, at a place he named San Salvador. Believing he had reached the East Indies, Columbus called the native inhabitants Indians, a misnomer that has persisted for centuries. Columbus's arrival in the Bahamas marked the beginning of European contact with the Americas, a moment that would have profound and lasting consequences for both sides. Initially, Columbus described the native inhabitants he encountered as peaceful and generous, noting their willingness to trade goods such as gold, cotton and parrots. However, Columbus's interactions with the indigenous populations were also marked by misunderstanding, cultural clashes, and a growing sense of European superiority. Columbus, driven by a desire for wealth and glory, saw the New World as a land ripe for exploitation and claimed the territories he explored for Spain, laying the groundwork for future colonization. Section 5. A clash of cultures, the impact on native populations. The arrival of Columbus and subsequent European explorers had a devastating impact on the indigenous populations of the Americas. While the exchange of goods, ideas and technologies did occur between the Old World and the New, the consequences for Native Americans were overwhelmingly negative. European diseases such as smallpox, measles and influenza, to which Native Americans had no immunity, spread rapidly, decimating entire populations. Forced labor, enslavement and warfare further devastated indigenous communities, leading to widespread death, displacement and the destruction of their cultures and ways of life. Section 6. The transatlantic exchange, from goods to diseases. The Columbian Exchange, as it is known, refers to the unprecedented transfer of plants, animals, diseases and people between the eastern and western hemispheres following Columbus's voyages. While this exchange had some positive effects, such as the introduction of new crops and livestock to both continents, the negative impacts, particularly on the indigenous peoples of the Americas, were far more significant. The introduction of European diseases to the Americas is considered one of the most significant demographic disasters in human history, resulting in the deaths of millions of Native Americans. Section 7. The birth of Columbus Day, commemorating a complex legacy. The first recorded commemoration of Columbus's voyage took place in 1792 on the 300th anniversary of his landing in the New World. Initially, these celebrations were primarily symbolic, reflecting a growing sense of American national identity and a desire to honor the exploration and discovery that had shaped the nation's history. However, as the United States expanded westward, displacing and often clashing with Native American tribes, the celebration of Columbus took on a new meaning, becoming intertwined with manifest destiny, the belief that European Americans were destined to expand across the continent. Section 8. A Day of Contention. The controversy surrounding Columbus Day. In the late 19th and early 20th centuries, Italian Americans, facing widespread discrimination and prejudice, embraced Columbus as a symbol of their rich heritage and significant contributions to American society. They passionately lobbied for the creation of a national holiday honoring Columbus, and in 1937, President Franklin D. Roosevelt officially declared Columbus Day a federal holiday to be observed annually on October 12th. However, as awareness of the atrocities committed against Native Americans grew over time, so too did the controversy surrounding Columbus Day. Section 9. Indigenous Peoples Day, a counter-narrative to Columbus. In recent decades, there has been a growing movement to replace Columbus Day with Indigenous Peoples Day, a holiday that honors the rich histories, diverse cultures, and remarkable resilience of Native Americans. Proponents of Indigenous Peoples Day argue that it's long overdue to recognize the invaluable contributions and sacrifices of indigenous communities, while also acknowledging the painful legacy of colonization and its lasting impact on Native Americans, which continues to be felt today. The first Indigenous Peoples Day was celebrated in Berkeley, California in 1992, on the 500th anniversary of Columbus's arrival in the Americas, marking a significant shift in perspective. Since then, numerous cities and states across the United States have followed suit, replacing Columbus Day with Indigenous Peoples Day, or celebrating both holidays concurrently, reflecting a broader recognition of Indigenous rights and history. Section 10. Rethinking History, Moving beyond Columbus Day. The debate over Columbus Day reflects a larger conversation about how history is remembered and who gets to tell the story. As societies grapple with the complexities of their past, it is essential to acknowledge both the triumphs and the tragedies, to celebrate the achievements while also confronting the injustices. Whether one chooses to commemorate Columbus Day, Indigenous Peoples' Day, or both, it is crucial to approach this holiday with sensitivity, understanding, and a commitment to learning from the past. By engaging in meaningful dialogue and recognizing the perspectives of all those affected by history, we can work towards a more inclusive and just future.